Thank you, Brendan. Good morning, everyone. Bonjour tout le monde. Je suis vraiment ravi d'être parmi vous ce matin. And just want to say quickly about Brendan. You know, I think your time as board chair is coming to an end. I'm sure you're very happy about that. I'm a past chair of the Board of Trade. I know Ian Sherman, my friend Ian, who was the chair of the Board of Trade for 30 or 40 years, I think. It was like 8 years, something like that, during various leadership transitions. Ian did a lot of the heavy lifting. So Brendan, thank you for your service to our community in that role. We are very, very grateful. That's such an important role in the community. So I want to thank Brendan. Brendan is very committed to this community, and I'm going to give you an example of that. I don't know, put up your hand if you've ever, and nobody will be putting up their hand, if you've ever gone to YouTube to watch a city council meeting. Has anybody ever done that? Has anybody? Oh, okay, a few of you have. I don't know why. Have you heard of Netflix? Anyway, sometimes when I'm in the city council, I'm chairing the city council meeting with my wonderful colleagues. Great to see all of you today. And I'll look at the number of viewers we have for our city council meeting, and it'll be something like 80, 84 or 85. And I'll think to myself, you know, that's probably 83 members of our city staff and Brendan McGuinty. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, it is really great to be back for this year's City Building Summit. Again, great to see my colleagues from City Council and our future president of the Federation of Canadian Municipalities, Tim Tierney. Su Ling, thank you for your great leadership and partnership. Thank you to the team from OBOT. Thank you to all of the members, partners, and sponsors, all of the representatives from the business community who are here today. Jacob, thank you for that great introduction, and for Amazon's commitment to our community. We're very grateful for what a great corporate partner and corporate citizen Amazon has become. I want to take a second to recognize my colleagues from the federal government who are here today, as well as Scott Phelan. Is Scott still here? Scott? Who's with the Premier's office and doing a great job. You know, Yasser, Jenna, Mona, all of whom I consider to be not just colleagues, but really true friends who work so hard on behalf of our community every day. And, you know, I think what the people of Ottawa expect of all of us is that we work together in their best interests. And I could not ask for better partners in Ottawa than these three members of Parliament and their colleagues in the Ottawa caucus, including one colleague in particular who happens to be the Prime Minister. We're very, very grateful for the working relationship we have, and we're getting a lot done together right now at a very, very critical time. So merci beaucoup pour tous vos efforts. Thank you for everything you're doing. Listen, I want to start this morning by talking about how much this city means to me. I was born in Ottawa. I've never lived anywhere else. My wife Ginny and I are raising our kids here, and I feel so lucky to live here. And I've talked often about the role of luck in my life. A few years ago, I gave a TEDx talk on the subject of luck in my life, and in fact, Jenna was the MC of that event. In a past role that she had at the time. I feel very, very lucky to live in this city and to have the opportunity to serve my community. My parents were immigrants to Canada. They each ended up here in the 1950s, and they met here and they got married and started a family. And I know many of you in the room would be the children of immigrants as well. And one of the great things about our country is the fact that we welcome new Canadians, and that in very short order, these new Canadians are contributing to our country and have the same opportunity as everyone else. And I always use Yasser as a great example of that. Yasser came here when you were 8 years old, I think, something like that. Is that right? You were a teenager? Okay, a little bit older. And, you know, I don't know if Yasser's parents thought when their family moved here, escaping a difficult political situation, that within 20 or 30 years, their son would be the Attorney General of the largest province in our country. That's a beautiful thing. That's an amazing thing about our country. And I don't know if, when my mother's family moved here from China, they thought, oh, one day our son or grandson is going to be the mayor of Ottawa. So my parents moved here in the 1950s, and look, Ottawa has changed a lot since the 1950s. It's changed a lot since I was a teenager in the 1980s. I often say my kids are growing up in a different city than the one that I grew up in, even though in both cases it's Ottawa. When I was a teenager, there was no Canadian Tire Centre. The National Gallery of Canada had not been built yet. The population of our city in the 1980s was around 500,000 people. And I often think about how much Ottawa has changed even since the year 2000. Just as one example, the building we're in today, the Rogers Centre, wasn't here then, as Brendan was talking about. We're now a city of almost 1.1 million people. Together with Gatineau, we're an economic region of almost 1.5 million. Alors, j'adore Ottawa. Je pense qu'on a quelque chose de vraiment spécial ici. I think we have something really, really special here, something special to build on for the next 25 years or the next 200 years. We have a lot of the wonderful amenities of a big city, but we still have some of the small town characteristics that we treasure, the ones that I grew up with. In fact, the Globe and Mail just ranked more than 400 municipalities across the country for quality of life, and Ottawa was #1 among major cities. We have our share of challenges, and nobody knows that more than I do. I'm dealing with that every day. But I think we have struck a very careful balance. We are growing. We're becoming more lively and vibrant. It's certainly a more exciting city than when I was a teenager. My best friend and I in high school, and Friday night for us was we'd take the number 3 bus to the Rideau Centre. Maybe we'd go to a movie back when they had a movie theater at the Rideau Centre, and we go to the McDonald's in the Byward Market. That was a big night for us. But look, we're becoming much more exciting and vibrant. Lots of positive things coming. But even as we grow, we still have that great quality of life. But as Brendan said, here's the thing. If you think Ottawa's changed a lot in the last 25 years, get ready, because it's about to change a lot more. Our population is forecast to grow by about 500,000 people in the next quarter century. 500,000 people. That's another 500,000 people. That's the entire population of our city back in the 1980s, joining our city in the next 25 years, moving here before the year 2050. So the discussion that we're having here today at the City Building Summit is a really important one. It's about what kind of city we want to have in the future. Change is coming. How do we preserve and protect our quality of life? We have to work on that, and we have to work on it together. The first thing I want to talk about is affordability. As you know, people all over the country, including right here in Ottawa, are feeling huge financial pressure right now. It's amazing that despite how prosperous a country we are, how fortunate we are to live in Ottawa, that there are so many families who are still struggling to make ends meet. Il existe une grande incertitude économique. There's a lot of economic uncertainty. We're going to see changes to the federal public service in the months and years ahead. There's particular concern and anxiety in Ottawa about that. We've seen rising costs for food and housing and gas. Small business owners are facing increasing pressure as their costs rise. And we're also responding to a number of different crises right now: the housing crisis, mental health challenges, the toxic drug crisis. Many of these things are not entirely within our control, but as a city, we need to do everything we can to respond. And I want to say thank you to my colleagues on Ottawa City Council, because I think for the past 3 years, 3.5 years now on council, we've been doing exactly that. Thank you for your hard work and collaboration, colleagues. I believe we still have a lot of work to do. There's still a lot of things we have to tackle. But I think we've gotten a lot done already this term of council. Let's start with housing. Too many people, too many young people in particular, feel like the dream of owning their own home or even renting their own home is increasingly out of reach. So we're taking significant action on affordable housing and housing more generally. Nous prenons donc des mesures importantes en matière de logement et de logement abordable. We are saying yes to housing in Ottawa. So we're on team yes, as Evan would say. And by the way, I got to say about Evan Solomon, got to know him a little bit as a runner. You know, Evan's a great guy. He's doing a great job. He's a very good runner. He's probably faster than me, which is not saying much. But you know, when I went running with him, I thought to myself, man, I wish I could take as few steps as he does, because he's so tall. You know, it's less work for him than it is for me, because my legs are shorter. Anyway, by working with our federal partners and through our housing action plan, we're building more homes, including more affordable homes, and we're building them faster. And last week, I joined Prime Minister Carney to finalize our new agreement with Build Canada Homes. Thank you again to our MPs who are such great champions for our city. Ottawa is the first city in Canada to partner with this new agency. And this agreement commits $400 million toward the construction of 3,000 mixed-income homes in Ottawa, the majority of which will be below or substantially below what the market would normally offer. At the same time, we've been working on removing the many barriers that have slowed housing down for too long. We struck a Housing Innovation Task Force, co-chaired by Brendan and Debbie Stewart from the city. We heard directly from the community about what needed to change, and a lot needed to change. There was too much red tape at City Hall, too many delays, too much uncertainty, too many confusing, duplicative processes. So we've implemented, or are implementing, 53 different measures to speed up approvals, eliminate, reduce, and defer fees, and get rid of the obstacles to building homes quickly. We've eliminated 13 different studies the city used to require before a project could move forward. Those studies meant more time and more cost in the housing process. We've also updated our zoning to allow more housing in the areas where it makes the most sense, particularly around rapid transit and right here in the downtown core. So we've approved tens of thousands of units, and we've more than doubled the amount of money that we're investing in affordable housing. Last term of council, we put $45 million towards affordable housing. This term, we're putting $105 million towards affordable housing. Thank you again, colleagues. Last year, when many cities in Canada saw housing starts decline, Ottawa's increased by 38%. We also need to work hard together on traffic and transportation and all the other important infrastructure that is crucial to the future growth of our city. We need to expand and improve and repair our major roads and arteries. We need better transit. And look, I'll be honest with you, public transit is one of the most challenging files, obviously, that I've had to work on since I became mayor. Responsible for a few gray hairs, for sure. And it's not an easy challenge to solve. But we've made a lot of progress, and we have laid the groundwork for a much better future. To start with, we found a way to remove a $4 billion burden that was unfairly placed on Ottawa residents. Last week, I signed an agreement with the provincial government to move forward with the upload of our LRT. With this one move, we will save $85 million a year that we can reinvest in better and more reliable public transit. And that's on top of the already historic amounts that we're investing in transit already. We've increased our transit budget over the last 4 years by a greater percentage than any other city in the country. And by the way, all of the decisions about LRT service are going to remain local. OC Transpo will still run the service. So this is a fantastic deal for Ottawa. And after the successful launch of Line 2 and Line 4 last year, we're now in a much stronger position to open the eastern and western extensions of Line 1 and to start working on expanding light rail to Kanata, Stittsville, and Barrhaven. We've also purchased more than 300 electric buses, and we're starting to put those buses, dozens and dozens of them, into service right now. That is going to transform our bus service. It's going to resolve many of the scheduling issues that we've had, the maintenance issues. That's big progress. And by the way, we just hired a new general manager of transit, Rick Leary. Rick has a ton of experience in a long career throughout North America. He's from Boston originally, and he still has a Boston accent, but he's a Canadian citizen. But he said to me the other day, we need to work smarter, not harder. So still got that Boston accent. But Rick is a great guy with tons of experience. He was the CEO of the Toronto Transit Commission, which is a service that is 6 times the size and scope of OC Transpo. So Rick has seen it all before. Any of the challenges we're dealing with, Rick has seen it before. And he's already working hard to resolve our Line 1 issues, improve bus reliability, and deliver a better public transit system for everyone. So between our new GM and our new electric buses and the upload of LRT, we are turning the corner on public transit, and better days are ahead of us. Now, I want to talk for a moment about, thank you. I want to talk for a moment about downtown Ottawa and the Byward Market. And again, I want to thank Sue Ling and Brendan and the team at the Board of Trade for all the amazing work that they have done on this really, really important issue. We all know, I don't have to tell any of you as leaders in our community, that a strong, revitalized downtown is absolutely essential to a strong economy. We recently launched our Byward Market Action Plan to reimagine one of the most important and historic parts of our city, an important part of Mona's riding. And Mona's been a great partner on this. As many of you know, we have 2 important sites in the Byward Market that are owned by the people of Ottawa, the Byward Market Building and the parking garage at 70 Clarence. We have an opportunity to redevelop those 2 properties into exciting new spaces. We're also working on improving the public realm and creating destinations that are going to attract people throughout the year. And we are seeing right now huge investments from the private sector into the Byward Market, including the new History Ottawa Concert Hall that's going to be just down there, some new restaurants, some new hotels. Visitor traffic to the Byward Market was up 50% last year over the year before. We've also just approved our new Downtown Action Plan. We are going to continue to build better public spaces and draw more people into the downtown core, and we're going to work with our federal partners as more and more federal employees come back to the office in downtown Ottawa. That's going to be great for the downtown economy. As you know, public safety is a critical part of anything we do downtown. People need to feel safe throughout our city, including and especially downtown. We opened a new police operations center to serve the Byward Market. We've hired dozens and dozens of new police officers. We're investing in private security and other solutions to complement the work of our police service. And we're expanding a wonderful new program called Anchor. I don't know if you've heard about this, but Anchor is a great program. We had a pilot project. We send highly trained crisis workers to calls involving mental health and substance use. So that's a much more compassionate and appropriate response. And it also means that the police resources that normally would have been sent to a call like that are now freed up to be deployed to other work. So after that successful pilot project, we're expanding Anchor to a much larger area that will include the Byward Market and Lowertown. And we are working hard to address the root causes of homelessness and other social challenges and provide more support for the most vulnerable. As you know, I made a pledge about 6 months ago. We are going to end youth homelessness in Ottawa by 2030. And we're already starting to make some progress toward that goal, working with our partners in the not-for-profit sector. We recently approved a motion at City Council to double the rate at which we are building supportive housing in Ottawa. There are so many other areas I could talk about where we are laying the foundation for a better future. We've had the lowest tax increases of any major city in Canada, protecting affordability for residents and small business owners like you. We brought together leaders from throughout our community for our City of Kindness Symposium to respond to rising incidents of hatred and racism. This is really important. Ottawa is a kind and welcoming city, and we need to preserve and maintain that. We can't let the forces that drive us apart take hold here in our city. We held our first rural summit in more than 17 years, and we've taken major steps to improve life for our rural residents. We've been partnering with our friends at Ottawa Tourism, who are here today. We're so grateful for the amazing work that they do. A little too much was said about Invest Ottawa and not enough about Ottawa Tourism so far, so I'm going to mention them a couple times here. No, they're both great. But we've been working with Ottawa Tourism to bring more direct flights to Ottawa, to attract more visitors and events like Ironman Canada. We had the World Junior Hockey Championships. And as one important example, moving forward and working with our partners in the federal government, we are bidding for the 2028 Sommet de la Francophonie. Very important. And we've teamed up with the City of Gatineau on our defense innovation strategy. We're ready to create new jobs and attract billions and billions of dollars of investment to our region. All of this work that I've just talked about is connected. And I know, I've been talking about the last few years. This is about how we build a foundation for a better future in our city. This is about progress. It's about solving challenges. It's about creating hope for a brighter future. And it's about working together. I love looking around this room and speaking at this event every year and other events that are put on by the Ottawa Business Journal and the Board of Trade, and I see a lot of the same people, the people who care about the future of our city, the people who are working hard every day to realize that future. To use Evan's term, the people who are on Team Yes. There's a lot of critics out there. It's very easy, as Evan said, to dump on Ottawa. It's very easy to talk about what's not working. All I would ask of those people is they just move out of the way and make room for the people who are actually getting it done. And that's all of you, the people who show up all the time at events like this and every day in our community. So let's remember how far we have come by working together over generations. If we look back to 4 years ago, even, in 2022, we were emerging from the pandemic. We'd just been through the convoy. Nobody wants to bring up those bad memories. Our downtown was struggling. Our light rail system was the subject of a public inquiry. We had a shortage of police officers and paramedics. There were all these level 0 events where no ambulances were available in our city. And there was a high level of toxicity in politics generally and even at City Hall. There was a real sense that things were moving in the wrong direction in our city. If you heard about Ottawa on the news, it was usually about the convoy or about our LRT. 4 years later, we still have a lot of work to do, but we are back on the right track. We've built strong working relationships with our Liberal government on Parliament Hill and our progressive Conservative government at Queen's Park. And that has led to billions of dollars of investment in our city. And the deals like the LRT upload and the agreement with Build Canada Homes. We're taking action and making significant progress on housing, on affordability, on transit, on transportation, on public safety, on building a stronger and more resilient economy, on creating jobs. These are the issues that matter most to residents and to small business owners. There is a lot of work to do. We still have a lot of challenges to tackle, but we are moving forward. We're positioning our city for a better and brighter future. Nous préparons notre ville à un avenir meilleur et plus prospère. We're restoring faith in our city's potential. We're attracting investment and talent. And I want you to imagine for a moment the future of our city. It is hard to think in terms of 200 years, even though we're celebrating our 200th birthday this year, but think in terms of 5 years, 10 years, 25 years, how much Ottawa is going to change, how much it can change for the better. We can become a kinder city, even kinder than we are today. We can become a healthier city, even healthier than we are today. We can become a smarter and more prosperous city. Ottawa's never going to be the same as it was in the 1950s when my parents moved here, or the 1980s when I was growing up, or even in the year 2000. But if we keep working together, all of us in this room, all the people who care about the future of our city, the city we want to hand to our children and grandchildren, we can build Ottawa into something even more special than it is today. I believe we can. I believe that for Ottawa, the best is yet to come. Thank you. Merci beaucoup.